Okay, here's the latest Gerry Anderson merchandise video that I put together. Had some spare time on my hands, so I thought I might as well crack on and get a few out there for you all to enjoy, hopefully. Obviously all the Anderson shows promoted understanding and peace, etc. But obviously being an action and adventure show, there was always going to be some shooting and guns involved, although invariably with shows like Joe 90 and certainly Thunderbirds, they promoted the fact that they would be using kind of knockout darts, all this kind of stuff, whereas with Captain Scarlet and certainly UFO, it was bullets and blood and death and destruction all the way, as we all know. Here is a small selection, certainly not everything that was produced. I've only got a fraction of what they did in the 60s for these shows, but these are just a few of the pieces that I own that I thought it might be nice for you to look at. I'll start with the Captain Scarlet dart gun set, still carded, with the figures that were the targets as well as the rubber stickered arrow darts that everybody kind of had as kids, shot at windows, etc. This same basic mould for the gun was also used as a cap gun and a water pistol with different workings inside. This is the one I own now. I actually had this as a kid. This isn't the one that I had as a kid. Next to it, a very similar affair, is the Joe 90 crack shot set. Pretty authentic version of the pistol that Joe used in the show, with a silencer as well as the bog standard darts with this rubber sucker tipped, and three targets. You've got a kind of a missile on a launch ramp, a tank and an aircraft. And I actually remember having this bought for me as a kid during a holiday in Jersey in 1970. It sticks in my mind. I think the weather was a bit grim and I had this as well as the Joe 90 doll bought for me. Moving on to another bit of Joe 90, a complete carded version of the win badge. Now obviously shopkeepers would have just hung this up on a nail probably, or a pin, and pulled off the badges as kids wanted them. But this is a complete unpulled set, so I did actually pay quite a bit of money for that, but it was worth it, because I don't think there's too many of those around. But obviously if there's anyone else who's got one, it'd be nice to compare notes. Moving on to Thunderbirds again, the cap from Berwick Toys. Berwick actually did a complete suit for Thunderbirds, as well as doing, along with Century 21, a suit for Scarlet and also a Joe 90 suit, which is very, very nice and very rare. I don't have any of the suits, so please, if anybody else has got any of the suits and they can take a bit of footage, please pop it up so we can all have a look. But from what I remember, I had the Scarlet suit as a kid. That was a nice one. These are the two pistols for Thunderbirds. Very authentic, obviously not the colours. The water pistol and the cap version came on just little bags, header cards, with Scott on the cap firing pistol and John, that's it, on the water pistol. And there's still a price of 3 shillings on the Thunderbird water pistol. So that's what it would have cost you back then, or cost your mum and dad. I actually had one of each of those as a kid, but these aren't the ones from them. I'll sit down now. This is a particular favourite of mine. This is a replica shadow pistol, as designed by Derek Meddings for the feature film Doppelganger. And as we all know, a lot of the bits and pieces designed for that, clothes, bits of set, vehicles, spacesuits, were all reused again for UFO. Now this gun obviously then appeared as a shadow pistol. I believe, and I'm not a gun expert to be honest, I'm not particularly keen on guns at all to be honest, apart from these kind of toy things. I understand that this was based on a Smith & Wesson Navy Seals pup pistol. I don't know whether it was a real one that they modified or whether it was just a general design that Derek used, but it should come either carded or boxed. But again, I managed to pick this up at a toy fair and nobody seemed to know what it was, but thankfully I recognised it. But the real novelty of this is the fact that it makes this noise. So I would have thought this is probably 71, 2 or 3, perhaps 74, 5 even, but a very early electronic kind of toy gun that makes a very authentic sound. It's almost like a sample of a real gunshot, but it gives that echo sound, which I guess kind of ties in with UFO, when he talks about using the pistol to trigger off the squibs in the wall in the episode Exposed. So I guess that's how it kind of ties in as the Shadow Echo gun, which is what I believe it was packaged as. But there you go, just a few bits of the weapons, toy cap guns, water pistols, etc., based on Gerry Anderson shows that I actually have in my collection. Hope you've enjoyed looking at them. See you soon.